Man, the Boston Red Sox kind of needed something like this really badly. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin, and just a heads up, we are going to be live right here on this channel, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be watching the finale of the Red Sox-Houston Astros series together. This is starting to feel like it could end up being a pretty big game for the Boston Red Sox, so make sure you guys are there. Again, that is going to be tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. But anyways, at least until game time, it's kind of Positivity Wednesday here on Red Sea Radio because the Red Sox got something last night that they desperately needed, not just in the win itself, but in what the implications of the win could mean, and of course, in the actual performances that were given by this Red Sox team. So we're going to break down this win kind of piece by piece and talk about what it means for the overall season. And of course, we got to start with what the Red Sox got on the mound right now, because what they got was something from a guy I don't think a lot of people had a lot of faith in, because last night, Dustin May took the mound for the Boston Red Sox with his 4.93 ERA and his 4.67 FIP, and was tasked with delivering a skid-stopping start for this Red Sox team, and that's exactly what he did in pretty impressive fashion. The dude last night went 6 innings of no-run baseball, allowing just 5 hits and a walk while striking out 8 players. Not only did he deliver a skid-stopping start, he kind of flat-out dominated the Houston Astros, and it wasn't just the final stat line that was impressive. It's how we got there. His velocity on his entire arsenal outside of his cutter was up, including a full mile-an-hour higher on his sinker and fastball throughout the entirety of the game. He generated 12 whiffs on his pitches last night, which is an absolutely fantastic sign, including a 33% whiff rate on his sweeper and a 27% whiff rate on his sinker. Everything was working last night for Dustin May, and the Red Sox really needed that. I don't think I'm alone in saying we got to the deadline here, we got past the deadline, and it was sort of like, okay, what did we just end up with, right? Dustin May not doing super well, never historically healthy. We talked about this a lot during the last couple of weeks, that one of these guys, either May or Buehler, really needed to step up and start taking a role of being a legitimate rotational piece, because to this point, they weren't really that, right? Dustin May wasn't giving you great statistics on the mound. He also wasn't giving you a ton of length on the mound, and that's with the Dodgers as well, not just the Boston Red Sox. Buehler's been all over the place this year. Someone needed to step up, and you know what? Both of them have had really great starts in their last 2 outings, and we're going to see what Buehler could do in terms of can he snowball this into a legitimate string of success tonight, again, live in person. But, you sit here with Dustin May, and we all kind of had feelings of this isn't good enough. We know the talent is there, but this isn't good enough. And we also sat there and acknowledged that if the Red Sox could pull the talent that we know Dustin May has out of them, that this could have potentially been a pretty solid move for this Red Sox team. Potentially, right? There was always that caveat in here. And I'm not going to sit here and declare that the Red Sox have fixed Dustin May outside of one singular start, because that would just be a bit ridiculous, right? Even though I know some of you guys like to think that's how I operate, I do tend to wait for larger sample size before overreacting to some plays. So I'm not going to sit here and say that the Boston Red Sox have fixed Dustin May, or that the Boston Red Sox have finally done something of worth for Dustin May here, but this is a really good start, right? It at least gives you some hope that that can be in there, that the ability to fix Dustin May is still on the table, and that it's not just some sort of lost cause that we're sort of just sitting here praying happens. So this Dustin May start was absolutely fantastic, and I think it was a legitimately huge reason why the Red Sox won this game, but it wasn't the only one. Because it also helped that the Red Sox offense just absolutely exploded in Houston, right? I mean, 14 runs, 13 hits on the night, 8 walks to 5 strikeouts. There were 3 home runs in this game. They were 5 for 16 with runners in scoring position. They were patient, they were able to create situational hitting, and they were powerful, and that is what we need to see from this Red Sox offense. There were guys in here who desperately needed a game like this. Carlos Narvaez, who has been struggling. Narvaez went 2 2 for 5 with a home run in here. That was a huge game for Narvaez. He needed something like that to hopefully kickstart him again. A couple of days off, gets back into the lineup every day, starts a game, and, well, he has a good game at the plate, and, maybe that time off was exactly what he needed. And you got guys who are just turning into legitimate freak shows in the best way possible, and I'm specifically talking about Roman Anthony. I mean, the dude walked 4 times in this game. That is not normal, right? It's not just the walks that are impressing everybody, right? We talked about this earlier when we were talking about Roman Anthony becoming a star in the league. It's that he has everything that he needs right now. He just simply hasn't had that home run potential, right? He's been hitting the ball on the ground really hard. He's been hitting the ball on the line really hard. He hasn't been getting the ball in the air like we saw sometimes in his minor league career. Well, this is what happens when you start to get the ball in the air, Roman Anthony, right? You hit it so damn hard. Getting the ball in the air is going to lead to more home runs, and he just hit his second home run in as many games. Probably, honestly, should have had 2 home runs in this game if they were playing literally anywhere else but Houston. So he's starting to get the ball in the air, and it's immediately leading to just a crap ton of home runs. Hopefully that's a trend that continues, but I mean, overall, right, even without the home runs, this dude is legitimately budding into a superstar. Since July 1st, he's now hitting .325 with a .455 on base percentage and a .508 slug. Like I said, he's a freak of nature, right? He's a freak show in the best way possible. And of course, we got to talk about Alex Bregman. I mean, the dude's doing exactly the same thing as Roman Anthony. He also hit his second home run in as many games. And it feels like Bregman, for some reason, is just one of those guys who knows exactly what a specific situation calls for, right? Whether that calls for, hey, I just need to get on base, or whether that calls for, brother, I need to get a pitch here that I could park either on a foul pole like he did last night or in the Crawford boxes like he did the night before. It's just really impressive how he's just got this, I don't know if it's a nose for the situation or just this understanding of what he needs to do. And it feels like he delivers 9 times out of 10. Again, Craig Breslow, give this guy a contract. Do not let this guy play in another uniform. And this is exactly why, right? Having this guy behind Roman Anthony, consistently giving Roman Anthony chances to either get on base or drive in some runs is really, really important to what the Red Sox are trying to do here. Moss is starting to hit the ball in the air. That's fantastic. It's not exactly home run power, but he's starting to get the ball in the air, and it's leading to run production. Trevor Story on the offensive side of things had 2 hits, but not anything crazy. What he did do, though, is steal his 20th base of the season. The reason that's important is because he hasn't been caught yet this year. He has a 100% success rate on stolen bases this season, and he could end up being a 2020 guy without getting caught stealing once the rest of the way. That's really, really impressive. That does not happen very often. What that goes to show you is how high Trevor Story's baseball IQ is. I think what this game was offensively was just a real nice reminder of why you should be optimistic about the Boston Red Sox, right? You get a couple of bad starts in here, and you start to sit there and say, was this just a Cinderella run? Was this just something, a flash in the pan? Are we going to see another sort of collapse from this Red Sox team that like we've seen the past couple of years? But this offense is different, right? This offense isn't the same offense we've seen the last couple of years. Roman Anthony's not going anywhere. Alex Bregman's not going anywhere. These sort of supplemental pieces like Duran and Story and Narvaez and Cedon and Willier, right? They aren't going anywhere. They're going to go through their hot and cold streaks, but they are there, and they always have the potential to ring you up on an absolutely massive game. And, if you sneak one of these games out, well, then maybe tomorrow or tonight or whatever it is, you can figure out a way to win 4-3 or 2-3 or whatever, right? And that's what I love about this Red Sox offense, and genuinely, it should give you some optimism down the home stretch here. But it wasn't just a big win in terms of the implications of the actual play on the field. It's also a big win because of what it means for the Red Sox in their potential standings for a wild card down the stretch here. The Seattle Mariners are playing incredible baseball right now. The winners of their last 8 games in a row. There's a potential here that the Seattle Mariners end up overtaking the Houston Astros and win this division. If that were to happen, this win becomes really big for the Red Sox, because for those of you who do not know how wild card standings are sort of put together here, if you have the same record as another team, it comes down to how you guys did in a head-to-head matchup. With the Red Sox and the Mariners, they're dead even, and that means it would have to go to run differential, which right now the Red Sox are winning. So if it's between first and second place between the Red Sox and the Mariners, hopefully by the end of the year this continues, but they would have that first place spot. With the Astros, it'll most likely come down to this series wins, and for the Red Sox, who have swept the Astros in the first one and just won last night, it is physically impossible for them to lose the season series against the Astros, which means, again, if the Red Sox are tied with the Astros for the top wild card spot or even the second or third wild card spot here, the Red Sox would be the ones who would take the higher position. And that could be massive, right? Because what that means, especially if the Red Sox end up in a wild card spot by the end of the season, they would get home field advantage for all three of those wild card games. And you are absolutely crazy if you don't think playing at Fenway Park for 3 games in a row, especially with this Red Sox team who has one of the best home records in the entire sport right now, isn't an advantage for this Red Sox team, right? That is an absolutely massive thing the Red Sox needed to secure in this series, right? We all kind of sat here and said, okay, you lost the San Diego Padres series. Ideally, you would come into Houston, win 2 out of 3, and there's still a chance they do that. I'm not totally putting that out the window right now just yet, although I will say I'm not totally confident in what Walker Buehler is going to be able to do on the mound here, but that's besides the point. What you desperately needed was you needed at least one win to secure this, right? Because even if you falter, even if you slump a little bit, there's still a chance that by the end of the season, you're fighting for a top wild card spot, and the difference between that could be what you did in these series, right? You kind of have the Yankees locked up. You have another series against them coming up in a couple of weeks. I think that's 3 games, right? So you kind of have that one set up. You're 5-1 against the Yankees. Now you got the Astros set up. You're tied with the Mariners. You're in a good spot when it comes to, sort of fighting out these wild card position decisions that this season could come down to. And I think, again, being at Fenway versus not being at Fenway for these wild card series could legitimately have been the difference between the Red Sox continuing on in the playoffs or the Red Sox getting bounced first round or really not even making the playoffs. Some people don't consider the wild card the postseason. It doesn't really matter, right? This was an important win the Red Sox needed, and they finally delivered. It's also just a bit of a confidence booster, isn't it? I mean, you just lost 3 games in a row. You lost 3 games in a row with your 3 best pitchers on the mound as well. There was starting to be some, again, some chatter. Is this something we should panic about? Is this something that we should sit there and start saying, oh, here comes the collapse? We knew the Red Sox weren't going to be very good this year, right? All those thoughts kind of surface to the top of your head for a Red Sox fan who's been scarred over these last couple of seasons here and over the last, couple of months too. We've seen at points where the Red Sox let 3 losses in a row start to compound, right? Start to snowball. We use that term a lot on this channel, but it is, right? Start to snowball and turn into 5, 6 losses in a row. And all of a sudden, you're in a much different situation than what you were 5 days ago. And the important thing for the Red Sox down the stretch here is that they don't let that happen, right? They can stumble for sure. And I think that's something people need to remember is that they're not going to win every game throughout the rest of the season. They're not going to have every single game where your ace is pitching at an ace level. They're not going to have every single game where you're able to score 15 runs or whatever, right? There are going to be games and series where you just simply don't look incredibly good. What's important here is not letting those wins overcloud your ability to get back on the horse. And we'll see what happens tonight if they end up losing this series, and maybe we can have a different conversation about the last couple of series here and what this could mean going forward. But right now, this was a momentum stopper in a good way, right? Sometimes you get these momentum stopping games in a bad way, and it's like, what are we doing? Sometimes you also need a momentum stopper in the other direction. That's exactly what this win delivered. And again, it's not just about the performances on the field. It's not just about what it does for a clubhouse. It's about what it does for the standings for this Red Sox team. It's about what it could indicate down the road. I know I sit here and I can tend to overreact, right? It's part of having a YouTube channel. I get a lot of Corbin, it's one win, right? It's one singular win and every win counts the same, but I don't think that's necessarily true. I think there are some wins that are more important than others, and I think this one feels like one of those wins that's more important than others. Now, I could be totally wrong, and we could be looking back at this video being like, I can't believe this dumbass thought the Red Sox were going to do something because they won 1 game in that Houston Astros series. Look at what they've done since, but I don't know, right? So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with this, but last night felt like a much bigger win than some of the wins the Red Sox have had lately, and maybe I am just overreacting. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think? What did you think about the win last night? What do you think about what it means for the Red Sox going forward? And do you think this win feels like it means more than a normal one? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just simply helps out a ton. It's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. I will see you tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time sharp for the finale against the Houston Astros. And as always, in the red seats.